You gonna climb up my leg? Come on, Amelia, you gonna climb up my leg? Yeah, I bet. Today's YouTube video moment. We're in the garage. We just finished up with the TT. The thermostat replacement is now complete. We got the Cadet in here. Picked up a plow for it the other day. We'll go over that in just a second. But first, let's talk about the job on the TT. I don't know, a couple weeks ago I was driving it. I noticed it wasn't warming up fully as I was driving it. It was taking a long time to warm up. And when it would warm up, I would watch the temperature gauge inside, and occasionally it would drop back down 1 hash mark. And then come back up, and, drop back down, come back up, all at random without any rhyme or reason. So, first thing I did was replace the temperature sensor. It's that little green unit. They replaced the black ones. The black ones had some sort of recall. They failed early. So it had a green one in it. Replaced that. Oh, I think I have one. There it is, that little fella there. So took that out, put a new one in. Same thing, no change. Still broken. Next thing was... Well, I got that part around here somewhere too. The fan control. So this is the temperature sensor for the fan control. I happen to have this one laying around, so that was the next thing that I tried replacing. I figured, well, maybe the cooling fan is coming on or staying on, keeping it too cool. Nope, not the case. So the last thing on the list, and for me the most expensive because I had that other sensor there, was the thermostat. Still not a big job, $30 or something for all this crap. When you order it, if you read online, they recommend get the oil dipstick dip tube. So I thought I got what I wanted. Turns out when it came, it wasn't what I wanted. I don't know. They changed the part number on me and ended up ordering, I guess, the lower dip tube. So this is the part that mounts, friction fits into the block and holds the upper portion of the dip tube. The upper dip tube is that orange plastic piece of crap, but I don't know if I can find it. After a while, it becomes really brittle. You don't want to go through there. It becomes really brittle, so you got to take it off to get at the thermostat. It is doable. You're going to need a little flex coupling, and I think it's a short 10mm socket to get in there with more than a 12-inch extension. So a 12-inch extension is the longest one I have, so I put a bunch of the 3-inch ones onto that. So I don't know, the whole thing was probably 18 inches long by the time I finished with it. With the short socket, it allows you to get in there. The thermostat housing is a little black piece. I wish I had the car in here, I could show you. It's a little black piece that mounts behind the alternator. So it's a real tight squeeze getting in there, but you can get in there without having to remove the radiator. I'm guessing that's what the book tells you to do. I didn't even bother reading it. But it's a fairly simple job. Half hour, 45 minutes. If you have all the parts and you don't make the mistake I did, ordering the lower dip tube. Luckily I was able to find the little plastic dip tube on eBay for, I don't know, less than $10 shipped. But that's all set. Took it around the block. Seems to be working okay. Next thing we're working on here, we're going to transition to Cadet stuff. So Cadet took off the mower deck, I don't know, end of fall. It had a couple spots in it, not on this side, a couple spots on the other side that were rotted and needed to be patched. So we got one patch in here. This had some rot in it. And another one here on the leading edge. You can see where the seam is right here. It wraps over the top. So did that, cleaned it up, did a quick paint job on it. It's not perfect, but it should last me a couple more years. I don't know about another 40 years, but we'll see. So I got some of the leftover parts from that way over there. Also put headlight so we can see what we're doing in the snow, in the dark, short days. Just one of the ones that I had as a spare off of, I think the 71 BMW came with one driving light on it, so for some reason I saved it, used it here. It's not good for much else. It's got a cracked lens and the lamp doesn't stay in, so it's bolted in through the back. Next thing, we picked up this plow blade. It's off of the 70, so there's a little bit of difference in the mounting frame and probably more difference in functionality. The original blades for the Cub Cadet original didn't have a spring trip, which the spring trip really is one of the greatest inventions for the plow. It keeps the plow blade from getting caught on frozen debris, wood, whatever, stones, stuff like that, that the lead edge of the plow would catch. And it actually does. It allows the blade to trip and pop up over whatever the thing there is. If you don't have that, when the plow blade hits something, it hits it hard and you feel it. So the nice thing about this is it'll spring forward when you hit something. I don't know, you really can't see it there. Maybe if I put it here, see the spring trip action. The other nice thing about this blade, it's a snow dirt blade. So, well, for one thing, it's got the plow angle, manual angle. For two, it's got the spring trip lockout, so if you want to push dirt with it, or something you want to do without the blade tripping, you can lock that feature out and use it that way. As I mentioned, this is from the 70, so the mounting points are a little bit different. It fits, I believe this carriage fits any of the early narrow frame Cub Cadets. The difference here is the let's see, the Cub Cadet original is slightly narrower in width, so the pin's a little excessively long, and you have to flip the brackets from the outside to the inside and weld them in place to get the proper hole alignment, or you can go and try and find those stupid brackets. The original had these L brackets that mount back here and capture in the front and then mount the plow. Whatever, if you want to try messing around with that, that's fine. We got too much snow to be fooling around with silly brackets. The plow came with a set of heavily used tire chains. You can see they're about halfway worn through. There's not much meat left on those, so that's fine for now. I don't think I'm going to necessarily stick with these tires. I do have some traction issues. We got, I don't know, a foot, 2 feet of snow out there, so there's a lot of snow, and it's been coming in heavy dumps, so we get a lot at once, and it's a lot to plow, and still having some traction issues, even with the chains on there. So I'm considering going to 8.5 inch wide tire with some AG bar type of deal. Carlisle has a couple that I'm looking at. Things that the plow did not come with were the attachment for the raise and lower arm and the link rod here. So link rod is made out of 1/2 inch bar stock. It's easy to make yourself. Drill a couple holes in the ends for some quick release pins, and then 32 inches long between the centers. You're all set. You do need this plate to bolt on to the arm. It allows you to engage that bar. This is much closer to the setup on the 70. The original, apparently the bar went inside the frame. This is just a lot easier to do it this way. So if you want to waste time, I guess you could finagle something, but you got to worry about going over the front axle or under, I don't know, and then come around, watch the clutch, and then come all the way back here, or maybe it sat way down low. I'm not real sure. I haven't seen any of them. So we went with the setup that's popular on the 70. It's just this quick bolt-on piece. Pretty easy to do. I think my bracket here is 12 inches long by maybe 1.75 inches or 2 inches wide. Drill a couple holes, location of your choosing, to get points that give you enough lift and enough leverage drill a couple of them. You can pick as you go about installing it, see which one you like the best. U-bolt at the top to locate it, and then I think this is like a 10-degree bend in there, not real critical, just heat it up and bend it in the vise. The bottom is forked so that it slides over the raise and lower bar here, 3/4 inch wide slot. I think that's about, oh no, there is one more thing, one more little trick. Those of you who have originals will probably recognize something similar to this. It's not exactly the same, but it's fairly close to the original tail light that was an optional add-on to the Cub Cadet originals. Mounted to one side. I've seen some mounted in the center. I prefer off to one side. You can go spend $40 on some of those specialty Cub Cadet sites, or you can go and order, a part number, something like this. This one I chose, there's a couple different models, they're similar. Some of them have the screw faces, some of them have the snap faces. I couldn't find any that had the 2-screw lens on them. They were either 3 or none, whatever. This one I ordered, it's the license plate side, so it has the illumination window in the bottom for the license plate. I did that so that I would have a little bit of work light in the back as well as the tail light. Kind of a dual purpose. I wanted the work light, considering maybe putting one of those 3-point hitches on here, something like that. So wanted to have a little bit of light for working at night. So we got to mount that tonight. The bracket's pretty simple. You can just cut it up to fit however you want. I don't know. I tried to keep the some resemblance of the original bracket, but there's documents and stuff online for that sort of thing. So really, that is about it. So, Cub Cadet original, and it is middle of December, and we've been plowing 3 or 4 days with it. That's all for now.